Hello everybody, welcome back to my podcast slash channel, Keeping It Real with Karina. But this time I do not have a special guest, so it is just me, and we're going to be talking about the movie Bugonia. So, again, if you don't want spoilers or anything, I don't recommend watching this if you're going to watch it. This is more just like thoughts on the movie and relating it to topics that I have discussed in class, as well as just discussing other people's reviews and kind of going through that. So, first off, just a little bit, I have little notes and stuff. The movie is by Yorgos. I think a lot of people know him. He's a director that also directed for other movies that Emma Stone has been in. This one is a movie that Emma Stone is in, and it's kind of just they're always sci-fi and weird, but I really enjoyed it. This is my first time watching a movie that had to do with this director. I've never ever seen the other ones because I have heard about them. And this movie came out pretty recently. It came out in the end of October, and I watched it pretty recently, this month. So these are kind of just my thoughts. Basically, again, spoiler warning, it just kind of goes through it doesn't really give backstory. It's kind of just get thrown right into it, and it's this guy who has lost his mother to a company, and he's living with his cousin, I think, and he's basically training for aliens, because he thinks there are aliens on the planet that they have to fight against, which which you'll see at the end of the movie, he's kind of right about, but at the beginning you think he's crazy, he's just being insane with all these people, but you kind of understand it throughout the rest of it. And then there's this woman who owns a company basically that his mother works for, which you kind of see throughout the movie, and she's really famous, obviously, because she owns the company, she's rich, and it's kind of just going through that. Okay, obviously the angle kind of changed a bit, but anyways, so this woman is a part of her company or whatever, and it just kind of shows her lifestyle, and she's super rich, as we know. You see her go through her lifestyle, waking up every morning, going to the company, all that stuff, and then at the same time that's happening, they're showing a parallel with this man, and his name is Teddy, and he's with his cousin Don, and they're still planning on how to beat the aliens, and then I'm just gonna give kind of rundown so I can go into my thoughts. And then midway through, the plan is to capture the alien, and the alien is the woman that's in charge of the company, and her name is Michelle Fuller, which is played by Emma Stone. And I thought she did a really good job at this beginning part of being the CEO of the company, all that stuff. And spoiler alert, at the end of the movie you find out that she is an actual alien, and he was right the entire time, but the gaslighting was actually insane, and you didn't even the viewers didn't even know that she was an actual alien. And that's what I think the director's point was able to get across, and I thought it was very well done, because you usually don't think oh, they will tell the viewers, usually the viewers know, but it was very one-sided, you only saw what the other characters were seeing. So then Teddy and his cousin Don capture Michelle Fuller and take her to their basement, where they tie her up, and they're trying to get her to speak to the mothership or whatever. And it just kind of continues on, where they're we know you're an alien, and she's no, I know I'm not, I don't know what you're talking about. Then she pretends. And also throughout the movie, I even thought that Teddy just had some kind of mental problem, because she even says Teddy, you need to get help, this is not normal. And I was okay, wait, she's right. But that's the point. It was kind of convincing the audience that was what's going on, but it's really not. And I'm just gonna read the summary that I searched up online from just the main movie's website, and they're just saying that apparently this movie was also based on a remake of a South Korean movie called Save the Green Planet. So they kind of it's not just an original idea, but it's based on that, and it's supposed to show the themes of greed, destruction, and how humans are viewed, and I think that's perfect, especially for in anthropology, especially the other topics we've discussed, talking about how humans interact with race, with culture, and all that stuff, because this is one of my favorite parts. But at the end of the movie, they show just like a montage, because Emma Stone's character, Michelle Fuller, is the alien, so she gets sent up to the actual alien world after she has killed Teddy, and after she is because Teddy's not able to actually go to the other realm. I feel like this is not a really good summary of the movie, because I'm kind of just like giving my thoughts, so don't take it too hard if it's not like exactly accurate to what you want to know about the movie, because this channel in no way is explaining like the movie. It's just kind of like what's going on in my head. But when she's going sent up to this whole part was so cinematically done that I'll rewatch it. It's literally perfect. She gets sent up, she's talking, and there's kind of a comedic relief to it as well, because like the other aliens are like speaking to her too, and you're just like, wow, like she is an alien. And then she destructs the entire human world, and then it just shows a montage of all the humans fallen over, just like going through each different country. Like, I just thought that was perfectly done, and it's kind of just like the destruction of humanity and how she's like the leader, so she was in charge of it. So overall, I will give this movie, because I was a little confused. I will say, like, the point of it is to be confused, though. In regards to Regretting You, like, that was based off a book, and like it wasn't very confusing, but they made it confusing. The point of this one is to be confusing, and it's supposed to keep you like wondering and kind of like be on the side of the characters. So I'm going to give it around an 8 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good, because first off, the actors, getting Emma Stone in that was really good. Getting the concept from the build up from the beginning to the end, and then there is in between where they give like little insights of Teddy's head when his mom was alive. By the way, his mom got killed because of Michelle Fuller's company, because she got like released some toxins or something. But in the end, it turns out she's just in the hospital, and he's just trying to save her, but the alien, which is the CEO, lies to him about what to do and ends up actually killing her. So I will say that kind of just threw me off, and I don't know, it's just like it wasn't, I don't know what the whole point of that was. There probably is more to it, and I probably will maybe do a part 2 to this, kind of researching what others on the internet have said about that, but I just was a little lost with that. So again, like, I give it an 8 out of 10 for just the entire cinematic experience. Like, seeing that in a theater, it's great. It was a little heartbreaking too. Like, there's comedy in it, but it's like heartbreaking because Don ends up killing himself because of the alien is like, I'll take you and Teddy up, like when she's just trapped in there with him, and then he's like, no, but like I want to be freed, like I don't want to be here anymore, and then that ends up happening, and I just kind of like really didn't like that. It was very unnecessary, I feel like. So now I'm going to go into other people's reviews online. So on Rotten Tomatoes, it got an 87%, which I think is pretty good, considering the last one we did, it was very low. But this first one's by Film Spotting, which is another top critic, which also just does film reviews in general. And this guy, Adam Kempner, said that the point may be human beings are intolerable, insignificant, and unnecessary. I guess I prefer my misanthropy more clever and less insincere. So he gave it 2.5 out of 5, but I feel like that was the whole point of it, is to kind of show the insincerity of humans and how human beings act in that sense. And that's why the ending, they're just all kind of gone and just laying flat because it ended that. So I kind of disagree with that. Another one from Film Week, Christy Lemire said, this takes me back to Dogtooth and the bold weirdness of it and the challenge of, are you going to go with one of us on a trip or not? I've never seen that movie, so I don't really understand what that means. She also didn't rate it, so I think she was just kind of giving her thoughts on it. So I'm just kind of going to glance over that one. The Nightly said that Bugonia belongs to Jesse Plemons. The desperation, the righteousness, and just the sweatiness makes Teddy both magnetic and repulsive. And she gave it 3.5 out of 5. Which I kind of agree with, because the character of Teddy I kind of hate him the entire time. And I don't know Jesse Plemons, I think he's the actor for Teddy, yes. So he just did a really good job with the character. It's almost like when you like hate a character, you also hate the actor sometimes, but I don't actually hate the actor. It's just like, it kind of gives that same feeling off. Another Gazette, Niagara Gazette, said, it's a darkly comic thriller rooted in the cinema of the absurd. Some visual moments are nerve-wracking, some are strangely lyrical, a hint of danger and all pervasive. The cracking dialogue offers a sense of menace that you don't find in most thrillers. And I think that's what makes it like funny too, because even though it's a thriller kind of and it's sci-fi, it's kind of funny too, but in a dark humored way. And I think we need more movies like that, because obviously like we have historical movies that are actually like dark centered and have like we've seen in class with racism and themes of that. And this wasn't really showing themes of that, but it was still like a thriller, and it still had themes that could be incorporated in the other insides of a human's mind, which I think if we watch this movie in class, a lot of people have so many thoughts on. So someone, johnmcdonald.net, said, while there are many moments of irony and absurdity, Bugonia is a very dark experience, poised always on the edge of violence, occasionally stepping over the line. But I will agree with that. Like I said, when the cousin kills himself, it's very dark, and it just like kind of adds like it is stepping over the line, because it wasn't needed. And also they do show it on camera, but I think with the theme of the entire movie, it kind of makes sense. So if people just understood that, if you just like look into it without, like, you know, it's going to be a very dark movie. It's not meant to be fun. So obviously you know that that was kind of incorporated in there just to add to that theme. And the last one, most of these aren't reviews. They're literally just saying what their thoughts are. Somebody gave it a 4 out of 5. This is just audience reviews. Jaw-dropping. Emma Stone is an amazing actor on screen, which I agree. Other people just gave other recommendations to dark, humored, and thriller movies, which is really nice. And then somebody gave it a 1 out of 5 stars, saying that the acting was great but the story was bad. Without a good story, all the Oscar winners in the world cannot make a good movie. I feel like the story, because the story wasn't explained in the beginning, you kind of just jump into it. That's what makes it very confusing. And I think since, like, some people are just watching it for fun, obviously, like, I still watched it for fun, but I was also going into it with a mindset of thinking about how human beings act. And that's when you know, oh, Teddy's probably going insane, or he's in a manic episode, or there is an actual thing. If we lived in a world where there was actually aliens, like, this would actually be happening, and you wouldn't actually know the true meaning behind what's going on. Like, it wouldn't be directly stated to you. So I think that's why the story was bad to this person. But like I said, again, like, I was confused at the beginning, and that's also why I gave it an 8 out of 10. But the cinematic experience was amazing, and I do recommend watching it in theaters. So with all of that, and then all of the thoughts that we've had from other discussions, it's definitely a different movie from the last one, we're getting you, from other movies we watched in the class, because it doesn't really like go into like race and culture, but it does go into identity. And I think that's very important, and I do recommend you watching this, but go into it with an open mind. And also remember, it's not meant to be fun and cute. Like, it's going to be dark and kind of thriller and scary. So that was my thoughts. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes with other movies, which we might have a guest star for. So thank you.